threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
What a beautiful day outside.
It is.
What a beautiful day in the studio.
Yeah, it is.
What a beautiful day. Just all around.
Everything's just beautiful.
Yeah, we're excited. Cameron, what are we doing here today?
We're going to do a podcast because that's what we do.
Yeah, we do it every week.
That's what we're doing here.
Yep.
But still National Preparedness Month.
It is.
So we wanted to maybe some newbies in here listening, and they want to know what to do. So we're going to talk about 15 things we wish we knew before we started prepping.
Yeah.
Because we've learned some stuff.
Yeah, and learn from us.
And there's some things that I wish I would have done in the beginnings or knew before I got started. I hope this helps somebody.
I hope it helps somebody too. I really do.
Because I don't know.
We're excited.
See. Yeah.
It's going to be a fun episode.
I think so too. I think it's
around.
good stuff.
Stick around for the good stuff.
It's coming up next.
Yeah, coming up next, right after this. Before we get to that, though, I got to tell you about Battlebox. It is the monthly subscription box for men, full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, Battlebox sends you the coolest selection of hand-picked outdoor, survival, and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received this month. The Outdoor Element Phoenix Talon.
We'll be able to go over more of this.
For sure. And then the Humvee folding shovel.
That's so cool.
Is rad.
Perfect timing coming into winters.
All this badassness starts at just $34.99 per month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2017. Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. That is a free knife with your first month's BattleBox at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
It could be the knife to save your life.
You totally could. 100%.
That free one.
Yeah. And it rhymed, too.
It did.
The knife to save your life.
Little poem.
Yeah, poem for your Thursday. Yeah.
I roam alone. This guy worked his butt off to get on this.
Yeah, I feel bad that we haven't read his review yet, so he put it in another spot just so we wouldn't miss it.
Yeah. Don't know his name, though, so.
He roams alone, though. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Okay. I've tried to post a review before, but you never read it.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of reviews.
I know. My review. These guys provide not only good prepping advice, but also in an entertaining way. I nearly crapped my pants once laughing out loud. Keep up the good work.
I hope it was like laughing out loud at us. I don't know if he's just telling us a story of some time.
I won't tell you guys something.
One time I was going to
Has nothing to do with what you guys did.
Yeah. So thank you. If you guys want to be part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, leave random messages around town. Leave us a 5-star review. Make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
There's things that we've talked about that I've almost like thrown up laughing.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times where I'm like,
But I always wonder, I'm like, does anybody else find this even really funny? Probably not.
The wives definitely do not. My wife was unhappy with me this week.
Why?
About the video I posted.
That was a good video. I'm
sure
sure she was mad.
She wasn't happy. So she said, you know what?
Truth hurts.
It does.
Truth hurts.
Let me say this to just set the record straight. She's awesome. The best.
Yeah.
In fact, there's none better than my wife in the entire universe.
Good job.
She's the one. She is like the Highlander. There can only be one.
Yeah.
And she's it. That was Highlander, right? I can't remember. Doesn't matter. It's my wife. She's the
Lord
best.
of the Rings or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah, so...
Yeah,
but that's just a thing I wanted to put out there.
Good for you.
To correct the record.
Yeah.
But that was a funny video. I don't care what anyone says. I was legitimately upset.
I could tell. And that's what she could tell too. She's like, spare me.
Yeah. That's exactly what she sounded like too. But I got to tell you about this little article I found, and this is a weird story. A shooting near a Chicago Fire production set. Apparently, that's a
Okay.
a television show, Chicago Fire.
I've heard of it.
I haven't heard of it. Yeah, a shooting near a Chicago Fire production set was just part of the unbelievable scene that unfolded Wednesday in front of A.A. Rayner and Sons Funeral Homes. A real fire broke out down the street, causing confusion among residents who thought the actors were real firefighters choosing not to respond to the blaze.
Come on!
Come
Hey, focus!
Hey, look over here. These are the flames.
You're so dumb you don't recognize the fire.
They're just over there putting like makeup on.
That
and
would
stuff.
confuse people big time.
I know. I just thought that was like hilarious. That like that was a thing that actually happened.
Yeah.
And then somebody like drove by and shot a gun too. Like it was like mass pandemonium near the Chicago Fire set.
Maybe this will get them going.
But anyways, they were pissed off that the freaking firefighters were like lounging around in chairs, going back.
That's
and
crazy.
Not fighting the fire. Oh my gosh!
I wish I could have been on a porch watching all that go down. It's like,
I know.
Holy crap!
Is that going to burn down?
What episode's this?
Yeah. I'm gonna put this on
That
my
come
DVR.
out this season or next week?
DVR time. This was great. This was great.
It wasn't as good on TV.
Yeah,
Way better to
it
live.
was way better in real life than on the television set. By the way,
Come on, you stupid firefighters!
what are you doing? I pay your salary, sir.
Get down there.
My
Please.
garage is on fire.
That would have caused some super
Yeah.
confused people. What
It
is
was like,
happening?
I can't really fight fires. I'm sorry.
I don't know how to do this.
Anyways, that was the whole thing.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
This one, I didn't know they were. I knew that they were working on something like this, but they're testing this sucker out.
Okay.
So NASA will use a spacecraft later this month to test a planetary defense method that could one day save Earth.
What?
The Double Asteroid Redirect Test Spacecraft,
Wow.
otherwise known as DART,
Oh,
will
that's
be
cool.
used as a battering ram to crash into an asteroid not far from Earth on September 26th.
Really?
Yeah. The mission is an intentional collaboration to protect the globe from the future asteroid impacts.
Dude, that's
They're testing this cool crap, man. They got a battering ram rocket.
That's pretty cool. I'm reading a book right now called Lucifer's Hammer. I'm sure some people have read this. This is like the classic
Asteroid thing. or
asteroid
something?
impact
Really?
on Earth. Well, it's actually a comet that hits Earth, but that's cool because
That's cool.
it's talking about that same sort of situation. And when we did an episode about surviving, was it asteroid? I can't remember exactly what it was called. But we talked about all those different methods and that they're actually doing it.
That's so cool.
That's super
Yeah.
cool.
In November 2021, SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched with DART from the Vandenberg Air Force in California. So that sucker's lining up. The asteroid. DART recently got its first look at Didymos, the double asteroid system that includes its target Dimorphos.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Dimorphos. Cool.
Or Dimorphos.
Dimorphos.
Doesn't have a U in there. Dimorphos. Anyways, they're going to slam that sumbee.
That's pretty cool, man.
I'm like super interested in how well it works.
Yeah.
They're going to redirect it into Earth. Piss.
You were supposed to go
It was
south.
going to miss by about 20,000 miles now. It's going to hit Florida.
Yeah, now she's going to take you out to Panhandle. I'm sorry. I don't know.
But we know how to stop it next time.
Next time we're going to get it right. I promise.
It's going to hit, if DART hits Dimorphos at 15,000 mile per hour, as
course.
planned, it will test the kinetic impactor Earth defense theory. So that's cool. I'm excited to see how this thing works
I hope
out.
they put a GoPro on the front of it.
There's one astronaut flying it. Where am I going?
Wait, what?
Yeah, you're going to
Wait,
go.
what time am I supposed to be home? Well, don't worry about that right
Why
now.
am I going further out into space?
This is-
Don't worry about it. I
Yeah.
can't see. He's got this big old thing on the front of my rocket.
Are you guys guiding me in the right direction? Yep, you're going to go right to where you need to go.
As soon as you see that, it's a space station. We want
Yeah.
you to increase speed to 15,000 mile per hour.
You were going to dock with the space station, and
It's kind of disguised as a meteor. You're going to go right inside that asteroid.
yeah,
It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But might
Yeah.
lose radio frequency for a minute.
I just can't believe I'm here, guys. I was just a janitor. I don't know how this happened.
Yeah. Do you know where the throttle is?
All you need to know is throttle. That's it.
We'll guide you the whole way, and then you're gonna give it all it's got.
Yeah. Oh man! Thank you for this opportunity, boys. This is great.
I appreciate it.
This is gonna look great on my
Passed out
resume.
4 times on the rocket launch, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah. This is gonna look great on my resume.
But that's cool. So the 26th, look out for that.
I wanna
I'm sure it won't be mentioned.
Look to the stars. Let's see if we can see an
I
explosion.
saw it.
Yeah, I know.
That star was over there. Now it's over here.
It's getting closer. What's happening?
Something happened.
Yeah. So here today, 15
let's
things
do it.
we wish we knew before we started prepping. And this obviously is great for people who are just beginning to prep or wanting to get into prepping or have just started prepping. But you know what? I think it's also a great thing for those veteran preppers to look at and reassess too sometimes, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of little things that are kind of included into each of these. So it's like
Yeah.
you could break it down a ton. But
Sure, yeah.
we were like, in general, things that we kind of learned and wished we knew.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
just because like when you know these things as you start, the process is easier, it's cheaper, it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple in here. I'm like, man,
If
I
I
really
only
wish
know.
I would have known.
Yep.
Let's talk about number 1. I don't know. This isn't in any particular order, but
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about physical and mental health, how very important they are,
Yeah.
and how quickly and easily they're overlooked. I mean, in my own life, I struggle to get enough exercise in. I do.
Sure.
And
yeah.
I go on a little routine for a while, and then I fall off that routine. But seriously, it doesn't matter how much food, how much storage, how many trucks, how many
Yeah.
guns you have. If you're out of shape, if you rely on medical care on a monthly basis,
Yeah.
it's going to be tough, really tough. You're probably going to struggle way more with that than anything else out there.
Yeah, it's kind of a cliche sometimes where you see the 400-pound dude with his like
Yeah, there's a lot of
all
those
his
memes.
tactical
It's like,
gear
prepared for the apocalypse. Can't
Yeah.
go upstairs.
yeah. And so I mean that's just something that
And weight's a hard thing for people. I understand. But-
for sure. Yeah, it's not easy.
and I'm not the best example of exercising, I just luckily have a high metabolism. But no, I like all that stuff's going to play against you.
Yeah.
And another thing to mention is like mental health.
Oh my gosh.
So,
yes.
but yeah, like find a routine for your physical strength and, something that you'll stick to. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, even if you're stretching 5 minutes routinely at night is going to be better than not doing anything.
Yeah.
This is going to help with your mental strength too.
Oh my gosh.
So during
much.
COVID, like this is where I really saw like the mental weakness that we all have. Like
Yeah.
mental health is a huge deal. It's a huge problem. Always has been, but like being thrown into a scenario that you didn't expect and it's confusing and you're not getting the correct information from government officials and it just you start losing your mind. And even today we still have like ripple effect from COVID, like delayed deliveries, like you're not able to get certain items that you need. It just makes a big mess of things. And I'd never seen more depression and anxiety in clinic than I did during that time. Like it's just crazy. And to think, things kind of started to come back to normal. We still have some problems from it, but like it's kind of normalized a bit. And like if anything goes any longer than that, like can you imagine if COVID was still going right now in the intensity that it was like in 2020?
It'd be
people
be a mess.
freaking be done. A lot more suicide and stuff like that. So like basically on this, it's like get your physical, get good physical health, like get an exercise routine, get good cardio, try to get off medications if you can. And then second, like figure out ways to control stress and anxiety.
But
because
look,
it's going to get really
the first
tough.
part is a humongous help to that second
It's
part.
probably the most important step.
100%.
Like that nobody really does. Like I always explain that to them. It's like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Are you exercising? And most of the time they're not. And so, yeah, you're right. that's like probably the first most important step. So the two go so close together.
Yeah, hand in hand.
But I put on the list. It's not that I didn't. It's not necessarily that it's things I wish I knew. It's that I learned later that were even more important than I originally knew. It's like you start learning about the unavailable medical care that you might need. You start learning that, I am on blood pressure medication. What happens when it's interrupted? I'm sure some of you probably been on a medicine that all of a sudden ran out of stock or is discontinued, and you're like, what the freak do I do now?
Yeah.
So you just learn a lot over time, and so don't forget about this and physical and mental health and how important they are before you do anything. It's like if I'm healthy enough to even use this 25-year shelf life food, like it's important. So
and it's just a great starting point. If you're working from a starting point of being physically and mentally
if you don't
healthy,
have the ability to do anything, you can exercise for free.
100%.
So it's like
push-ups, sit-ups.
Start working on that, and you're probably going to do better than people that have big storage supplies.
Yeah, man.
But we want you to get to that other point. So.
And again, a lot of the things we're going to talk about today, like prepping isn't everything, and most of the time, you're not. We're going to talk about this later, but you're most likely not going to be in an apocalyptic scenario in your life.
Right.
So the physical and mental health, this is going to help you every single day, but it's also part of preparing.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting two birds with one stone, and one of those birds is with you all the time. It's life. You're there. You're living it, right? So
we're all preparing to retire someday.
Yes.
What good is retirement when you're like crippled
and
and like you're on tons of medicines? And it's like the same thing.
It's not great.
Like you need to prepare with a healthy mindset and body before you even get to the point.
And then think about it. Think if the zombies do come and you're super healthy.
Cardio.
That's awesome.
Zombie land, man.
So just look at it both ways. So the second one, oh boy, I wish I would have known this at the beginning, because I think, again, starting from a really good base is planning is everything, right? It is.
It really, like.
Yeah. And it's almost a joke at this point because I talk about like emergency plans so much, right? But they are so useful. They are so critical. And general planning before you just hit the ground running is so much more effective when you start preparing. You can have all the gear in the world. You can have all the water and the food you'd ever need. But if you really don't have a plan on what you're preparing for or what you should be preparing for, it just doesn't work like you hope it would, right? And so when you talk about an emergency plan, these things help you know like how to meet up and communicate with your family, who is taking care of what, when a disaster hits, how to evacuate, who your emergency contacts are, what the kids' school emergency plans are if you have kids, where you're going to shelter in place, all that stuff. All your gear, all your food, and your water might be useless if you haven't had a plan and you don't know exactly how to get back to that stuff, right?
Right.
Because if it's all sitting at home and you can't get back home and you don't know how to get your family, boy, it just doesn't work out like you would hoped. So I wish I would have done a plan really early on, because it informs you on how to best spend your budget with prepping, because you do this an assessment.
You get so overwhelmed with all the things you need to do.
My gosh.
So if there's like no plan.
No.
I'm just going to prepare for 2 weeks. Like you're going to be buying a lot of stuff that you probably never will use.
Yeah.
Or even need.
Yeah. You just don't know. So this informs you how to best spend your budget, best spend your time and your energy. And it helps you to be more prepared sooner, because you're getting prepared for the correct things.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it's so important, and I really wish I would have done that beforehand. And also, many say things like, "Oh man, she is a fan. I'm just out of here. I'm gone. I'm heading out of town."
Where are you going?
Exactly. Where are you going, dummy? Like, because, it doesn't.
You're not going to be around here. Where are you going?
See you later, bruh. I don't know. But you have to have a plan. You have to know where you're going, how you're getting there, what you're taking, who's going
Even
with
more
you.
so if you're going and if you're leaving, your plan's got to be way more detailed.
Way better. It's just like people, I got bags in a truck.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I hear
live.
that all the time.
Yeah.
I should ask them too, like follow-up questions.
Yeah.
Like, okay, where you going?
Yeah, so
you don't have to tell me, but what are you going to do?
Do you know where you're going?
How long are you going to be there?
How you going to get there?
Where are you from?
Where's the fuel?
Who am I?
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
What's my purpose?
So you got to make a plan. You got to practice that plan. Like bug out bags, they're great. You have to have them. They're super useful, but they're not super useful if you don't know where you're
It's true,
going.
you
They're just a bag full of shit. You know what I mean?
It's true.
And you're just like driving around town watching the fires burn. I don't know. You know?
Well, if I have to go up in the mountains, I got stuff.
I got some stuff. So, and then, like I said, I mentioned this briefly earlier on, but defining what you're preparing for is critical.
Yeah.
You've got to understand the actual threats that you and your family face and how to prep for each of those. It's just, again, people think, and I think we're going to talk about this more. They get into prepping and they're like, yeah, that asteroid hits, I got to be ready. Got to be ready. Not necessarily. That's not what you should be preparing for. Right?
Yeah, right.
So anyways, make that plan is super critical and do it early on because it's all the better when you do it early.
It makes way more sense and things come together way more efficiently. And speaking of efficiency.
Oh, this one right here is
number
the one,
3. This is probably
my biggest regret
me too.
in my life, probably.
Me too.
It's not the frosted tips and painted black fingernails on stage. This is this one. This is my biggest regret. See-through shirts and love songs. No. It's this.
Yeah. Number 3, inventorying early.
Yeah.
Getting an inventory set at the beginning of what you have and what you need to get and keeping track of that. I regret it. Because even now, I've done it like 5 or 6 times. I've started a new inventory and it's fallen by the wayside.
I've done the same thing.
I'm like, it says here I have 15 cans of beans and there's 1. Like, no one has kept track of this.
I feel like at this point, I'd be better off just to give everything away.
I know.
And start over.
You do. You want to do that. I want to do that in life just in general with my whole house.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, let's burn it down.
Start over.
Start from
Let's
scratch. Then we
start
know
over.
what we have.
We have a tent. We'll live in that for a couple years.
Tent, number 1.
Number 1. We got a tent. We got sleeping bags.
Seriously, though.
Yeah.
Like, this is my biggest regret when it comes, and it's we kind of got into prepping a little more heavy, and you start like adding more food supply, more water, more gear. The gear is out of control. Like,
oh my gosh,
I know I have it, and I've kind of organized it. I just don't know how much of each specific thing I have, and that's.
One day I got to do a video on the gear, just like the piles of gear I've got. Like my knife pile is so ridiculous.
Yeah, yours is probably
most people will look at it and go,
the size of mine.
"What the hell is this?" It's a pile of knives. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like, man, so stuff gets super messy. Life goes on. You add more stuff. You collect stuff. You put stuff in bins to use later, and you never touch it.
Yeah,
it just helps not just for prepping, but in life in general. Like, you need to know where things are and how much you have. Do it now.
Yeah.
It helps you to also like rotate your food more efficiently. You're going to add different food. If you do not keep track of the expirations, it's probably already expired right now.
Oh man,
it's crazy how fast it is. Like,
I think it was last year.
Man, this is going to be good till 2023, and all of a sudden, boom, it's 2024.
2024.
You're like, what?
Last year we cleaned out our pantry, and I had to throw away so much crap that was bad.
It frustrates you. You're
feels
like
I just bought that.
Right?
Like, no, we didn't have two kids back then.
There's so many things, and I'm like, oh yeah, we had enough. Well, we still have enough. We just put it away last year, and it's been like 3 years. So yeah, time goes by so fast, and your stuff expires. You wasted it. You wasted money. It's just not good.
You wasted your life.
You did. There's no point in being here anymore.
Just go.
Yeah. So it's super critical and crucial to like do that, to keep track of your goods. Also, if it gets to a point to where you're rationing or doing anything more like detailed, you're gonna really be glad that you know just how much top ramen you have.
Yep.
Because like, kids get into stuff too. That's the other thing. It's like, man, keeping track of it in general, even if you have an inventory, it's still going to get messed up a little bit, but at least you have a set point. Makes your shopping easier. Makes your, I'm always afraid of like the rationing thing. I'm like, I don't really know exactly what I have.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways to accomplish this. We've gone over stuff. We've shared some lists. You can get lists online. You go to ready.gov. They have some good things. I mean, there's ways to do it. There's easy ways. People make lists all the time. You can find one. Just start doing it early on. I promise you. Yeah. That'll be the worst thing to do, is if you just don't keep track of anything.
I want to be on my deathbed like 85 years old and be like, I never did an inventory.
Yeah.
That's like going to be my regret.
Same here.
It's going to be my regret. You know?
Well, it's like, I think of even when I buy a particular tool to use, I'm like, oh, I don't have any of those bits.
Yeah.
You buy them, and you come home, and when you get done with the project, you put it away in the place with the old ones. You're like, oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Now I got two of them.
Yeah, it's
So,
pain in the butt.
That's what happens. You just got to keep an inventory of
Yeah.
things.
So another one, it's kind of like either a misconception or just something that you learn over time. There's more to prepping than how much you store. And one of those things I want to start with is guns.
Yeah.
This is again one of those controversial things. It's a popular opinion out there sometimes that guns and ammo, those are the number one preparedness item you need.
Yeah.
You gotta have that 5.56.
We just went. I went to dinner with a couple we didn't know, and the other couple that we were with, like, told them that we had that I have a podcast, and they were like, "You got a lot of guns." That was the first thing he said.
First thing,
I was like, "That's weird." The prepping has that, like,
yeah.
everybody thinks that that's what we do.
It's a thing that for some reason, and it's not just people outside of preparedness, it's people in preparedness feel this way sometimes too. So look, we've said it a million times, firearms, ammo, it's all important. There's no doubt that it's not important.
Right.
But many preppers, especially.
And I want more of it.
I do too.
Freaking ammo's expensive.
For sure. And especially in the prepper media, they seem to believe that they are the most important aspect of preparedness. Yeah. It's all about guns. But in our opinion, look, again, this is our opinion. This should almost never be your first go-to purchase. Right. Shouldn't I'm going to be a prepper now. I'm getting ready. What should I do?
There's a lot of people that do that too.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a pistol and ammo, and I'm like, do you have any water? Do you have any food? For how many weeks?
I'll take yours. I'll take yours.
Yeah.
I got a gun.
I got a laser sight. Pointer right at
I got a bump stock and a... body armor. It's so funny, but it really was something that even that I thought before I got into preparedness, and I don't. It's just crazy how prevalent that mindset is, right? Security, hunting, these are both very important aspects of preparedness, but it is 100% not as important as your 3-day supply of food, water, and meds, which is where you should be starting most of the time after you do an inventory and make an emergency plan, right?
Exactly.
So, you can add this aspect of preparedness in when it makes sense. And if you love it and if it's a fun hobby for you, make it a bigger aspect. That makes sense to me. As long as you have your other bases covered, don't pretend like just buying another box of ammo is your preparedness for the week, right? You've got to cover other things. And knowing this before you begin in the preparedness is pretty dang important. That gun is not super useful in a short-term power outage or if you have a medical emergency.
If you fire enough, a flash gets you some brightness.
Yeah. So just think about those things. And then the other aspect of this that I wanted to touch on is just stockpiling goods.
Yeah.
Just getting more and more. Like that knife pile I've got.
Yeah.
That's not
I know a lot of people, and you'd mentioned guns, that like they'll go to the store and they will stop on the way home and buy like 2 or 3 more boxes of ammo. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like I understand maybe you do shoot a lot, but at the same time I'm like
there's a lot of other ways.
That's like their high priority, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's great. Like,
but
I
that's
said,
not alone. Yeah, not just ammo. They do that with like one particular thing. It's like, why are you buying so much of that?
So just
toilet paper.
Even just like with things like toilet paper or more food and more water, you can continue to stockpile all you want, but it isn't everything.
Right.
And again, that's another thing I continue to learn, and I wish I knew at the beginning, because skills, health, plans, knowledge are just as important. Sometimes more so.
Yeah.
Sometimes more so than that gear in food and water that you store. So don't feel like you're not preparing if you aren't stockpiling food and water. That's
a huge misconception for preppers. You just have a ton of stuff and that's it.
Yep.
You're a hoarder.
100%. So there's a lot of other ways to become more prepared than just buying food and water and meds and things like that.
For sure.
So learn that early on and you'll be a happier prepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to explain better what you do.
That's funny that's the first thing they ask. You must have a lot of guns and ammo. It was the very
first thing. They're like, you got a lot of guns? I'm like, actually, no, I'm the opposite.
I think I saw the one guy that you went with. I think I used to play basketball with him.
He's tall. He's a basketball player.
Is he tall? I don't know.
He plays for Jazz right now.
Someone's got to. Traded away
That's
everybody
true,
else.
They did.
Yeah.
I just saw that anyway. Yeah, he did. Yeah, the second thing he was like, "Wait, are you PA?" He's like, "I split my head open." I think it was him because I recognized him.
Did you stitch his
He
head up?
he jumped a hurdle and the hurdle came back down and cracked him in the back of the head.
There's a lot of hurdles
Cut
in
it.
life.
There are. But it was funny because it was like guns and then like, wait a minute, I think I know you.
Yeah.
The number 5, don't spend all your money in planning on just long-term supplies.
Oh, man.
I got caught up in this.
I did too.
Like at the very beginning, I was
Yeah.
like, it's easy enough. I'll just buy 25-year shelf life stuff. I'll have to remember it for another 24 years until I have to start looking at it
I'm
again.
a prepper.
That was it.
I'm a
I
prepper.
did that. And man, COVID opened my eyes on that. Because I was like, I had focused so much on like 5, 10, and 25-year shelf life stuff that I was like, I don't want to touch that stuff.
No.
In town, we didn't have any like yeast and like there's like these little supplies I didn't have. And I'm like, okay, don't focus all your time and effort and spend all your money on the 25-year shelf life stuff.
Yeah.
That's the last stuff you want to crack into.
It is.
Until you really have to. Because it stores well. It's made to store well. Half of it's not even made to be eaten.
I know.
And it's like,
yeah.
And it's easy. That's the thing. It's easy for you to like, well, I need 3 months. Oh, there's a deal. I'll just spend $400 and we're set. A lot of times you get caught into stuff that's trash, tastes horrible, or it doesn't fit your family. They don't like it, or you have allergies.
And it doesn't, and it's, the nutritional value isn't great.
Right. So it's just like, it's easy to do. And I'm not saying you don't get that stuff.
Yeah.
But don't put all your planning onto that. Like, this is an easy way of just going, I've got my 3-month supply that it'll be good for 25 years. You're going to hate life.
Yeah, you're going to regret that for sure.
Because that stuff isn't great. There are companies that make better stuff, which would be
Nutrient
Survival.
Yes.
They do. They make better stuff. It's healthier. But at the same time, I don't want to crack into that stuff.
No, I don't
Because
either.
it costs a lot more.
Yeah.
It's good. It's quality. It's nutrition. I would wait on that stuff. And so that's the thing. Like, I think people get caught in this a lot. They don't build their 2-week supply that's going to be more perishable goods, things that they commonly eat, things that'll probably get you through most
anything you'll
disasters.
face. That's the hardest part. And like I had this same issue when I first started, and I'm still kind of fighting it. It's the hardest one to do because you have to be on top of it all the time.
It is the hardest.
You have
to do the short term.
You have to have a good rotation. You have to have a good plan. You have to have everything in order, or otherwise you're wasting money because stuff goes bad, or you're not getting the stuff you need. You don't have the stockpile that you need, right?
Yeah.
So it's so hard.
Yeah. So yeah, it comes down to planning. Don't just jump into something and say, well, I'm good, I'm set, because even though you have your 25-year shelf life stuff that's going to last you 30 days, you're probably still going to feel like you don't have a good supply.
And again, I was bass-ackwards when I started because that's the first thing I bought was long-term shelf
what
life
I did
food.
too.
When
I
really,
bought, like Patriot Pantry stuff, and I still have it in there. And
in reality, I should have worked on that 2 to 1 month supply of food I actually eat all the time. That's what I should have worked on first.
And that's
then
what we
moved
talked
on.
about earlier this month. It's like building your 30-day. And
Yeah.
it's like perishable goods, things that you commonly eat, things you use to make more food, like flour, butter, flour and butter.
That's all you need.
That's it.
That's it.
But yeah, so this one's easy to get caught up in, is just making it easy and buying 25-year shelf life stuff, but you'll regret it if you don't have a plan of the more common stuff.
Yeah.
So the short term.
We've been doing this podcast for a long time, and there are a few things that really stick out when I'm thinking about things that I've learned as I've gone along, that we've kind of learned it. And one of the big ones that kind of hit me hard was finances. And the what we wrote here is finances still matter. But the first thing I wrote is like, they not only still matter, they are vitally important. They're like almost more important than any, like, again, it's more important than worrying about your 25-year shelf life food, right? Many get that impression, that, especially when times look bleak and scary, and when you are first starting out, that don't worry about money. just get the things that you need to be prepared, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry about your savings. Don't worry about your budget. Your financial well-being being just open the window and chuck it out as you drive down the road, right? Because I need to become prepared as quickly as I possibly can, and nothing else really matters. That's not really the best way to go about it. It just isn't. But you feel that way when you first start sometimes.
Yep.
You get that prepping bug, and you're like, oh crap, something's gonna happen. I need
$4,000 for this 25-year for my
Fine.
whole family.
I'm gonna do it.
I only have $3,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna take out a
I
loan.
want to be able to eat.
Yeah.
And then that food goes bad 10 years in the future.
Yeah, and you're
still
off.
fighting yourself.
You're still paying
You're still
interest on that loan that you took out. So like I said, when you begin prepping, that feeling of doom or that overwhelming feeling, it can be super strong, and it just makes you do stupid crap sometimes. You think that maybe you should, use a bunch of savings, use a credit card to get what you think you need to be prepared. But like I said, the more Cam and I discuss this, the more we research it and talk about preparedness, the more I get convinced that your basic financial well-being is critical in preparedness and more important than most other things. It goes back to that health and mental and physical health thing, like right in line with that. So this is a controversial opinion again coming out, of course. Most likely, Cam, you and I, most people listening will never face a full-scale apocalypse.
Yeah.
The
Where
odds,
you're burning money
the odds are way against it.
in a barrel to stay warm.
The percentage
Stuff
is
like that.
so low.
Yeah.
So low, like 0.00001% that we will ever see that. And I know that's not popular to say on a prepping
We're
podcast.
like destroying our own podcast.
Yeah, and but it's true. Most likely, well, not even most likely, you will face a small scale, short-term personal apocalypse.
Yeah.
You will. And all of those scenarios, they're going to be much easier if you're financially prepared and you're financially smart.
Yeah, what is the percentage you're going to meet financial burden before the apocalypse?
That's it. And
like 60% of people.
Yeah, it's like
some financial burden.
Like there's a lot of people in the community. It's like, we ain't going to make it to 2025. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. There are
really
like even having that feeling.
How often have you said
I'm
that?
going to live it up now.
We all thought Bush was going to kill us all. Then Obama was going to kill us all. Then Trump was going to kill us all.
Yeah.
Now we got Grandpa in the White House. We haven't died yet.
All 6 of them.
We don't know how many grandpas we
You know
got.
how many Bidens are running around
It's like
out there?
multiplicity. Each copy is worse
They've
than the
just
last
learned to
one.
clone him.
I'm gonna eat a dolphin. No, you're gonna pet a dolphin.
Which one do we got? We got to do a speech real quick.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Just, you got to continue to work on your finances because that makes you a better prepper, makes you more prepared. You got to work on your emergency savings, your budget, your cash on hand, limit and eliminate debt, diversify your investments, all of these things we've talked about. You have to have a long-term plan for your financial well-being. Hopefully, the reason we're preparing is so that we can get old and live through our life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Hopefully, we can retire at some point.
Right.
You can't retire on 25-year shelf life food.
You can, but what a
It's
miserable
gonna
retirement.
suck. Okay, so you've got to have a plan, and don't forget about it within all this prepping stuff. And understanding this before you begin your preparedness journey is going to be key. And I wish it didn't take me so long to start thinking about that
Me too.
more seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably the most likely thing that any disaster is going to cause is a financial issue for somebody.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
you're prepared and got some money away for
Yeah.
rainy day and an emergency fund, that's going to be way less stressful.
So for like a long time after I started prepping, I felt like I have to do preparedness, but I guess I need to be thinking about my finances,
About
right?
there never being an apocalypse.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, I guess I need to think about finances too, but I'm like, now it's like, no, the finances are the prepping.
Yeah.
They are that. They're not something
that's so
separate.
true. Yeah.
They are the prepping. So don't.
That is an easy one to kind of like push to the side. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, we need to get the food and water and
Yeah,
life
Biden's
sustaining.
gonna kill us all.
Yeah.
Asteroid's coming. I don't think this.
He's going to take all our money anyway.
I don't think this newfangled asteroid machine's gonna work. We're all gonna die.
Now Morpheus going to slam right into us.
More folks coming down. He's coming.
Y'all take up underground bunkers or something.
Yeah, you guys can start saving away on your 401k, but I'm buying a bunker.
Yeah. Bandits don't care about 401k, I'll tell you that much.
What are you going to do? Take a picture of it? Huh? Hang it up on a bunker wall? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
You going to be dead. How much 556 you got?
Guaranteed.
How much 556 you got? That's my 401k.
My 401k for sure.
For sure.
He's all over there.
Look at it. Look at it.
I can see it. I can shoot it. I can touch it. You
can't
can't
do
touch
it.
your 401k, can you?
Yeah, what are you going to do with that 401k, K? Huh? I don't know. KKK? Do you think about that? 401k,
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Heck
good.
yeah, bro.
Heck yeah, Trump 2024. Biden 2028.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
He's coming.
He's coming back. He's
New
gonna
medicines are going to come out. He's going to feel better.
He's going to take a little break. He needs a rest.
He does.
All right, and then he's coming back full strength.
6 to 12 months in nursing home.
Yeah.
He's coming right out of it.
Yeah, the tapioca man's back.
Make tapioca great again. Oh, man. Probably catch some heat for that one.
Probably, I don't care.
Number 7, and this one's a hard one too. Prepping takes time.
Oh,
Like you get, like you were saying, you get like super worked up about it. You're like, man, I've got to get all this stuff ready. I've got to get, 2 weeks to, I got to have 3 months for my family. I've got to have 15 billion gallons of water for all of us. You get stressed out over it.
Yeah.
But it takes time, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, start with the small stuff. Get 72-hour kits for your family.
Yeah.
That one's easy. You
Yeah.
can get that done this week.
Yeah, it doesn't take too long.
And then you just start building on that. If you've got your 72-hour, good. Now I'm going to go to 2 weeks or 1 week. And then I'm going to go to 30 days. Then you go to 90 days. Then 17 years, 25 years. You just keep building from there.
Millennium.
But you get kind of like freaked out and you start buying a lot of stuff and you start like making purchases that really aren't going to matter, duplicating gear, like you said. You just get too much stuff. And so you need to understand that prepping is like a lifestyle that takes some time. You slowly start to accumulate these things. You learn new things and put together your kits more efficiently. You got to rotate that stuff. Don't worry about that. That's normal. Like, work on just that 72 hours and you're ahead of most people.
And that's, I think that comes back to the things that you were talking about before too, like health and finances. You don't get healthy in a day.
No. And that stresses
Believe
me
me.
out. I'm like,
I
man,
ate a
I'm going to
salad.
start running 7 miles. And I'm like,
Yes,
5.
don't.
I'm like,
Don't do that. It's like, I
5
ate a
minutes is
salad.
what I meant.
I am prepared.
Yeah.
No.
yeah,
It takes a while.
Yeah. And that's okay. Like, as long as you're working towards that, that's normal. People that have been prepping for a long time have all these supplies. You're not going to get there for a long time. And like I said, first, like we were talking about, you got to get a plan, you got to inventory, and then you start building on that. It takes time, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. You don't need to get in a rush and go buy $4,500 90-day supply, 25-year shelf life stuff today. You're going to regret that.
I still get that feeling like I don't have enough. I need to get it now.
Me
and then
too.
I like have to tell myself, look, bro,
Yeah.
you've got some stuff.
Right. It's
Right.
such a relief to know, like, I've put together these small things. We have a plan, and I have like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a huge, I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
going to get you through almost everything.
Almost everything,
Like,
you guys. Almost
so-
everything. If you get 2 weeks, well, we talked about it in the 30-day supply. 30 days,
Oh, that's huge.
you're the king of the apocalypse, right? You're the king of most emergencies.
Yeah.
So don't be so hard on yourself.
Right.
You're doing good, Mr.
Yeah.
Prepper. You're
Just
doing pretty
don't-
dang good.
Just don't try to jump too far
Yeah.
ahead. It's like, I need that 90-day.
Yeah.
It's not going to get you very far.
Yeah.
It's not going to get you 90 days, I'm telling you. So take your time, learn some things, listen to the podcast,
Yep.
learn a little bit. And then,
Maybe.
it takes time to slowly build these things up.
Yeah.
So don't get stressed out about it. That's
a good
just
one.
how it works.
And you feel it when you start way more than, after a while. I mean, I still feel it, but right when you're starting prepping,
Yeah.
if you can realize that, it makes the process better.
Right.
You don't get that like overwhelmed like
You
anxiety.
don't. And it like I think you get in a bad habit if you just sort of like, I'm going to buy 30 days. I have the
Yeah.
money to do it. Then you don't do anything. You don't prepare anything, and that stuff goes to waste. So
For sure.
get a good habit. Take some time, learn some stuff.
For sure.
Speaking of learning things, do you know what a VPN is?
Virtual private network.
Yeah, it keeps you safe online. It cloaks you. You go gray man. You can do whatever you want online. They ain't going to trace it back to you.
Heck no.
The best one out there of all of them, Surfshark. Basically, It's the easiest to use. It's the most affordable, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I spent my own money on this for the 27 months that you can get with our code Casual Preppers. It gets you 83% off. You get 24 months plus 3. You can try it out for 30 days to see if it works for you. 24/7 support. The nice thing too is one subscription will cover everything you own that connects to the internet. That is amazing.
Yeah.
You can even put it in your router. So each device is just connecting to a remote server somewhere that Surfshark monitors. That is awesome. If you travel a lot, this is a great one to have because you go on these public Wi-Fi networks. People can track down your IP address on your phone. They can hack into your phone. You ain't going to have that happen with Surfshark. Their app's really easy to use. You just click connect. It connects to a server somewhere else, and you're safe. That's it. And like I said, go to surfshark.deals. Use the code Casual Preppers. You get 83% off. 24 months plus 3 will cost you less than $60. You can't beat it.
No, you can't.
And they keep developing more and more like they have an antivirus software. They have an email check that'll email you and let you know that your password's compromised. They have a malware protection now. Like they
Tons
have
of good
all of
stuff.
it. Yeah. They're the kings of protecting
And
your
this is like one of
PCs.
those things we talked about, it's not just all about food and water and stuff. This is preparedness too, and it's an easy way to do it.
This is more, you're probably more likely to have identity theft than you are to have an asteroid hit the Earth.
Yep.
By far.
Exactly. Check it out, Surfshark.
Yeah.
So the next one, store what you actually eat, Cam. Don't just buy beans and rice. I mean, you can.
That's another easy one to do.
Right, yeah.
Just like I can buy a bulk of this crap. I'll cook it maybe.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like when you begin, you just want to buy maybe what's on sale, what's in the long-term shelf life department, those types of things. But again, good luck getting your
Manager
kids.
special.
Yeah.
It's all cheap.
Getting your kids to eat freeze-dried grits or broccoli or something like it's not going to work.
Yeah,
it's just
starve in front of you.
Yeah.
And you'll have abundance of food.
You will watch them die while you eat the broccoli. That's what will happen.
Seriously,
that's not great. And then along with buying and storing what you actually eat, make time and effort to test out different food storage products. Try out different brands and meals and snacks and those types of things. Don't just purchase it and say, I'm good to go, bro. I just bought some stuff, right? It's just you want to make sure that when the time comes and you actually have to eat it, that it's something that's going to be palatable and your kids will eat it and you'll eat it and your wife will eat it or your husband, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's so many packets that I'm like, oh, we're going out. I'll just grab one to test. And I'm like, ugh.
That's horrible.
Why do I have 10 of these?
It's like, if your family hates beans, why would you buy beans?
Yeah. Who cares if it
and
costs
rice?
less?
Because every preparedness website out there says, you got to get beans and rice.
Yeah.
Because they store for a long
Doesn't
time.
matter. It's sustenance.
Yeah. It's
when
like,
there's a crisis.
I get it.
Yeah.
But again, most likely, I'm going to worry about that month to... that 2 week to a month.
I'm going to worry about
prices.
power loss for 10 days and I
Yeah.
can't get to the grocery store.
And if my kids have to eat beans in those 2 weeks, they're going to be mad at me.
Yeah.
Like when I could have stored Eggo waffles or something in the freezer,
Right, you
or something else that they'd want. So do you really want to survive that way? Work to store what you keep. What will keep everybody's spirits up when they eat. Work to store more of what they already eat in the pantry and freezer. It's not always about that long-term food. It's just when you start, it kind of seems that way. And so just make sure to think about, storing what you actually eat.
You can do that too.
Yeah.
Like it does. It takes a lot more planning and a lot better. Like you have to have a better inventory and a better rotation, but you can do it. You can plan the same meals you have this week for next week and store it away. Do it.
Okay.
Number 9, comfort and conveniences can be part of the plan. So starting out, like when we started getting gear and stuff, it's like, man, let's learn bushcrafting skill and let's learn how to use a ferro rod. That stuff's awesome.
Joyous times.
But like, why not use better technology? And I kind of shared this with my brother and some of his friends too. And, my brother was like, oh, that's going to be garbage when, if we get an EMP. And I'm like, there's a chance of that.
Sure.
But we have such good tech. We have good devices. A Bic lighter is freaking master, it's a beautiful design.
Should work through an EMP.
Yeah. But I'm just like, yes, there's some cool stuff, and you can learn a lot by learning bushcraft skills and having, the really rugged old time stuff that's been proven through and through. But we have comfort and conveniences and good technology. Like, use it, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think when I early on, I was thinking, man, I don't have like wilderness survival skills. I don't know how to build a belt out of a piece of bamboo strip, or you just and that there's nothing wrong with learning them. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but like, we have good stuff that I think gets overlooked because you're like, man, I'm preparing for the worst of the worst. I'm preparing for an EMP. I'm not even buying any battery backups because it's all going to go to crap. Like, there's no use in doing that or doing both. Like, there's no use in doing just the old prehistoric stuff.
Yes.
Like, we have technology, plan for it. I have battery backups. I have Faraday bags that protect some of my devices. That's one thing that I think I looked at early on. It was like, this is all going to be worthless. It's probably not.
That's the thing. We were talking with somebody the other day. We were on somebody else's podcast or something. They're like, yeah, well, I don't worry about like the high tech stuff. I don't want to, make sure that I'm dependent on that. And I'm like, well, yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Like, I totally understand that.
Yeah. But here's the thing. The larger percentage of issues that stuff is going to be useful.
Yeah.
By far.
So it's like, yeah, you prepare for the extreme.
Yes.
But live in the modern time of like
Yeah.
having those conveniences. Like, I have apps that help notify me. I have apps that keep inventory.
Yeah.
There's no problem in using that stuff. Don't get caught up in people telling you like, well, yeah, I noticed you have a power garage door. I ain't gonna work. Like,
oh, you're starting a fire with that?
Yeah.
You can't do it with your breath?
oh, you're cooking with propane. I'm pretty sure propane won't exist when an
Yeah.
asteroid hits.
It's like, I get it, but come on, man.
that stuff's available now, and you can stock up on it. And if it doesn't happen to work, if you planned correctly, you have a fallback.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. It drives me nuts when people are just like, they don't plan on having any of those conveniences. I'm like, why not? I'm going to plan on having them, and if I don't have them, I have a backup plan.
Yeah, that's the backup plan. That's not my number one survival plan.
A lot of the things I have now are to keep the comfort and conveniences that I have now. Like, I want to live as long as I can in an apocalypse, as comfortable as I can.
And again,
lighting and
And again, what kind of apocalypse are we most likely to face? By the largest percentage margin there could be, basically.
Yeah.
It's going to be short-term power outages and things like that.
Yeah.
And so that's what you should really
So don't get
focus
caught
on.
up in like ignoring the things that make you comfortable,
Yeah.
the things that make your family comfortable, like treats and stuff like that. Like, you can still live through pretty much all disasters.
Oh, you buy pre-made clothes? Yeah. You're not going to get those in the apocalypse.
There's so
stupid.
you'll get people that'll just like harp on you about like,
Yeah.
I noticed that you rely on a lighter that has a long end that you
Yeah.
can put down the fire. That ain't gonna happen in the apocalypse.
Heck no.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with learning how to use a ferro rod, but it sucks. I hate it. I'm using a Bic lighter until I can't.
Unless I absolutely cannot.
Once they're all out, then I'll just go back to.
Then I'll go back to being
You can
pissed
buy
off
a
every
pack
time.
of 5 of them for like $6. So,
And don't overlook or forget about hygiene. Because it can be easily overlooked, Cameron.
I overlooked it for like the first couple of years that I was preparing. I'm like, man, I don't have any of this stuff.
And again, once you start to really get into preparedness and understand the things you need to survive and the things you need to stay healthy and the things you need,
This goes back to the comfort and convenience too.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it's really easy to get lost in food, water, and gear.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy. Like, you always just like, food, water, I need gear, food, water, gear, food, water, gear. That's what I need. But go a few days without clean water, then come back to me.
Yeah.
Go a few days without your feminine hygiene products, and then come back to me, Cameron, and see how you feel about it. How about soap and toothpaste and deodorant and things like that? That, some of that stuff maybe you don't have to have, but it sucks to survive without it.
Yeah.
Or to live without it. Like deodorant, you don't necessarily have
A
to
lot
have
of
it.
that stuff is like, once it runs out, you're like, well, I got to go to the store and get it.
Yeah.
You don't have any backup.
You don't have any backups, right? But some of this stuff.
Shampoo, conditioner.
Yeah.
I have like 55 years worth
Yeah,
in my
I do too.
shower at this moment.
I don't think any of them are for my style of hair, but we definitely do have a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But and some of this stuff, it's critical for your health.
Yeah.
You've got to have it to stay clean and healthy. In times of crisis, your health is so critical, and without proper hygiene, your health is going to quickly deteriorate. I mean, when you begin prepping, that's maybe not quite so evident as you start. We all lived through the TP crisis of COVID. We remember what that was like. And so you don't want to have to be one of those crazy people hitting Walmart to just, fight over a thing of Charmin. You don't want to. And it's so easy just to have some prepared and have some ready. Your preparedness plan has to include hygiene in one way or another. So don't overlook it. And I wish I would have known that from the beginning.
Me too.
But I know it now, so that's okay.
How exciting to be 20 days into the long-term apocalypse and you haven't been brushing and flossing your teeth and you get a cavity.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you got to call the dentist.
He's
and
like, that's going to cost you all your food supply.
Somebody was like, I hope you guys never get a toothache. Somebody wrote that on something after our dentist one.
The dentists don't listen to us.
No, they don't. Absolutely not.
They already have.
They're counting their money. They don't have time to listen to a podcast.
They're diving into their silo of coins like
Scrooge McDuck, man.
Oh, man.
They got that McDuck money.
You want to see all the crowns I have? Look at this silo. You think that's full of grain?
Platinum, gold, crowns.
You want to look at my collection of bullion?
Look at my filling. It's diamond. It's diamond.
Ain't cracking this.
Ain't cracking in, nah. I can cut damn window.
I know.
in half.
We were harping on dentists big time.
We were.
Like I said, I have a love affair with them when I have a toothache.
I know, huh?
And then after that, I'm like, sons of bees.
Yeah.
Wish I'd have pulled the tooth out myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, number 11, prepping can get boring. This is what we do, and we probably bore you. But the thing is, like, I go in like these bouts of like, man, there's so many things I need to get together, and I'm like all into it, and I put my bug out bag together, and then everything's kind of set and ready, and I'm like, I'll come back, like, we'll check on it later, and then I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't want to look at any of that crap.
This water's in the way.
Yeah.
I'm kicking food around.
It's all wet. Ugh.
Yeah.
Hate water.
It gets boring. Like, you don't really feel like you need to do anymore. You're like, man, I've got a few things. I don't really care.
Or you get burnt out with it. If
apocalypse comes, I hope I die. If apocalypse comes,
apocalypse.
I'm already drunk.
It's so boring.
But like, it gets that way, and so you've got to come up with ways to like make it fun and make it part of your life and include it. Like, go camping with some new gear. Try it out.
Go camping with no pants on.
Yeah,
that makes it less boring.
Yeah.
Try and hide in the woods.
Have a lights out night with your wife. No, I mean with your kids, like turn the lights out. No, that sounded weird.
That does sound weird.
Have like a grid down.
Yeah.
Have them learn where flashlights are and use it and see what kind of gear would make you guys' life more convenient. I'd have to say, like, times that we've lost power or we've had issues with the house has led me to find more convenient things to kind of get through those.
Sure.
Like the solar generator that you can have inside and plug things in so that kids can still watch a movie so that you don't have to listen to them whine. Things like that are huge. And joining forums and reading different articles. I mean, we try to include in our podcast and different things to think about and different places to go. There's a lot of places, like Reddit has some awesome stuff that takes you on a little different, adventures to learn about.
Let's go on a Reddit adventure tonight.
I know, that sounded I don't know where I was going with that. Like, basically, it takes you into an area that you haven't really explored very much of, like, prepping. It's like, man, they're talking a lot about
weird stuff.
Target practice and stuff.
Body armor.
Yeah. But, like, that stuff kind of keeps you in the mood for, and then all of a sudden you'll hopefully get a little spark that you're like, man, I need to work on my food supply again and go through it all.
And that
happens.
Chickens.
I go up and
Rabbits.
down like that, and just plan on that being part of prepping, and just have a way to kind of counter. We even had an episode on how do you keep it interesting. So
how do you keep that spark?
How do you keep that? Hey, go on date night with your prepping supplies.
Yeah, take your knives and your backpacks out to a steak dinner.
Yeah, play dress up with your wife. This is apocalypse.
Let's pretend like I'm a bandit. And you're home scared.
What kind of supplies you got, woman? Hold her
Show me what
hostage.
you
Let your kids try and help you out of it.
What kind of toilet paper you got down there?
You got some holes in this plan, girl.
You got the feminine product?
Your husband's not home. I'm going downstairs to get the prepping supplies.
Oh, you
How
gotta-
you going to defend yourself?
Was your husband a dentist? Let me see your
My
feelings.
wife has already skipped through this part. Out there going weird. They're getting weird and
They're
uncomfortable.
getting weird. I'm super. Her heart's beating real fast.
Oh, I can't believe he's talking about that. Skip.
Next.
Eject.
Eject. That's a good inside joke there.
Yeah.
Gear needs attention. It does.
Yeah.
And not in the way you might think. It's not like you got to go more gear.
Yeah.
I was super guilty of this. If it looked cool, I wanted it,
Me
and
too.
I was getting it, and I got it.
Yeah, I did that. I did it.
I played with it for
Done
5
it.
minutes,
Did it.
throw it in a bag, and I was prepared, right?
Yeah.
And then Cam and I, we would go out, we would take this said gear that we had to have, and we'd start to use it, and we'd go, this is garbage. This does not work as it's intended to be used. Or you take it.
So much gear we found out is just trash.
You get that axe. I had to have this axe. You split one log and it's broke.
Yes, but the
Like,
handle.
The very first one. Like, okay.
That did happen.
That did happen once. So, many times I had no idea how to properly use the gear, or the gear itself was absolute garbage. And so, part of purchasing and acquiring gear for prepping is to make sure that you understand how it's properly used and that the gear itself is high quality, or at least high enough quality that it's useful. Because there's many times, backpack wise, I've done this before, knives, I've seen this, where it looks cool or it seems like a good deal, but then you go out and use it, and
I've had that happen.
that's
with
why it was
backpacks,
cheap.
too.
That's why it was cheap. Or also, what gear may be great for half the year, but not great for the other half. You need to keep your kits and supplies ready for each season. So it's not just like set it and forget it with your gear. You have to be keeping up on it all the time. And, do you do that maintenance with some of this gear that might be super critical? Have you ever taken one of those Zippos out and it doesn't
Every
have
time.
any fuel?
Every time.
That happens all the time. Has your gas gone bad? Has the battery jumper died? I've had that happen before
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Is that knife dull as balls, man? Like,
Yeah,
it's just like,
found that out the other.
yep. So gear needs attention, and the sooner you learn that, the better off you will be moving forward as a prepper. You gotta pay attention as you're purchasing it, through the life of the gear and the maintenance and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
You'll get more efficient. Your bug out bag will get smaller.
Yep.
Because you have better supplies that are more efficient. And yeah, it's a
that's
good
my
idea.
that's my favorite thing, when I can bring in a piece of gear and take out two pieces of gear. It's the best.
Yeah, you're like, heck yeah, I'm a genius.
I'm a gosh damn genius. I'm
But
Ben Franklin.
there are those tools out there.
Yep.
Number 13, people can be super helpful or total a-holes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the prepping community, we have such a good group. Like,
Oh my
that
gosh.
follow the podcast and like that talk with each other,
Seriously,
share stuff.
If you
Amazing.
aren't yet on our Facebook group,
Mhm.
you got to get on there.
Yeah.
Everybody is so cool.
Yeah,
And we have some really
they
good
usually
moderators.
will cast away
Mhm.
a freaking butthole
Yep, they're gone.
because there's
quick.
tons of them. There's tons of them that think they know so much,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to share that in a forceful, like shaming way. They're just like,
Yes.
"You're an idiot for not doing it exactly how I do it." Don't listen to that crap. Don't get discouraged by it. There are some like really good people out there that can help you.
You just have to find them, and that's the hard part.
You
And
do.
that's the reason Cam and I basically started the podcast too, is because we love to talk about this stuff. We love to learn, but most of the people we encountered, especially like online or
Still see it.
oh my gosh, I'm
Tons
like,
of like this
these guys are
fear mongers.
buttholes. They're buttholes. I don't
Yeah.
like them.
Yeah.
They're mean to me. I don't want to. I mean, and we're.
Oh, I'm done prepping.
I don't like preppers, and so
I mean, a lot of groups have that. They have
Sure.
like, you got to find the right people in
Mm.
certain groups. But prepping's a big one. Like, there's so many buttholes that think they know and
Mm-hmm.
and shame you for doing something the way that you do it. It's,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you don't have homemade soap. You're a fool. You're gonna
Yeah.
cause toxic waste. No,
Yeah.
all these weird things. But so like discovering people that are on the same page as you and learning to kind of brush off the a-holes that have nothing better to do than to like criticize you.
Yeah.
Just ignore it. And
It took us a while.
yeah, it did. It did.
Especially doing a podcast.
Oh my gosh.
The first
yeah.
year or two, oh my gosh. It was
Yeah,
so hard.
we got plenty of reviews of like
Bad ones. Bad ones.
things that you guys hear but you don't notice, and so thank you for getting through some of that.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, like don't get discouraged by the a-holes. You're gonna find them everywhere. There's a lot of them in the prepping community, but like our group is great. Like join up with us. We'll help you get along, and you don't have to feel so stressed out.
We're
about it.
idiots, but we'll help you.
Yeah, we are idiots.
Yeah.
But we are full on casual.
Uh-huh.
So,
100%. Okay, I like that. Okay, this one is big. This is a big one. We've talked about this already several times.
we already have,
but,
yeah.
it deserved its own point here. The end of the world as we know it is unlikely. Prepare for your personal apocalypse. This is so not sexy at all.
Yeah.
This is, and I did not feel this way at all when I first started. It was the complete opposite. I wanted to prepare for martial law. That was it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that was where I was at. And so, I wanted you to think about it throughout your life, Cam. How many times has the world ended?
Yeah.
How many?
Zero.
Okay, zero. Right.
COVID seemed like we were heading that way.
Yeah.
The election put it at like doomsday clock at
We were
like
close.
a quarter of a second.
But we got through,
Yeah.
right? It didn't end. It wasn't the end of the world as we know it. There were some things that changed, and I'm glad we were prepared for those, but it wasn't the apocalypse.
Right.
You know? So tell me, how often have you had a car breakdown or a medical emergency or a job loss or a short-term power
Yeah, usually
outage?
monthly, one of those.
And one of those happens, right? It seems like it happens all the time. Or, your battery dies on your truck or your car.
Like 2 months ago, we had an ER visit, and then we had I had to replace the starter in my truck. And it just happens.
Stuff
That's life.
happens, right? And so these things will happen to us all, you guys. They're going to. These should be at the top of your list, preparedness-wise. When I learned that, finally, I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Why was I like so worried about these? And again, we talk about those other things because they're fun. And yes, you should prepare for the big stuff, but the small stuff is where the rubber meets the road, preparedness-wise. But you just work on those most likely first. If actually preparedness is your goal, this is where your focus should be. When you want to have some fun and you want to go a little further, then you can worry about zombies.
Yeah.
Then you can worry about asteroids, and then you can worry about, the Yellowstone caldera blowing its top and us, getting crazy. But that's where you need to focus your energy, is on your personal apocalypse.
Yeah. I love that one.
Focus.
That's like probably my favorite of like, you prepare for those things for fun, but the realistic part of it is you're not going to face any of that.
We hit this so hard. Like anytime anybody interviews us, like this is like
It always comes up.
This is
We
what
always
we talk about.
yeah.
And people probably get
Because
sick
it
of
makes the most sense.
It
Like,
does.
If you're prepared for those things, you're going to be fine. The last little number 15 is don't prep alone. So
It's scary to prep alone.
there's a lot of people that ask, how do I get my spouse involved? And that's good. I'm glad they're thinking about it. And I hope that they've found a way to kind of get them involved in that, because doing it alone is not going to go very well. One, lone wolfing it for sure is like the fastest way to die for most people. Because there's 99% of us don't have that skill to do it on our own, to have that situational awareness, to have the skill to live in the wilderness. And, we're not Navy SEALs or whatever.
Even then, Navy SEALs have a team.
They do have a team.
You know what I mean? It's
So-
the SEAL Team 6 or whatever.
And it may
like-
not be that extreme, but prepping alone and storing your food when you don't have your family included in that plan, it's gonna fall apart quickly. Like, you need to involve them, and you need to find ways to kind of just get them on the same page as you. Understand why you're doing it. Understand the safety and the care that you have. You want them to be safe, and that's why this food. That's why we're doing this. You have to do that. You have to include your family in that plan, and you have to form some kind of a group, some additional person, probably an additional family or more, to help you during hard times.
Well, and it's also just like the motivation to continue to prepare.
That is another thing.
Is big. Like Cam and I are this way all the time. We'll say, "Hey, look what I did," or "Look what I got."
Yeah.
we should do this.
I'd say half the stuff has come from like when you've said you're gonna you're looking at this. I'm like, man, I won't buy it first. Boom.
Exactly.
No, really, but it kind of just makes me think, oh yeah, this is a good time. Or I forgot I probably should look at that myself.
And then you also can have those discussions about that kind of stuff, and then it makes it more fun.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like, look at this. Let's try this. Blah, blah,
and like
blah.
I was saying earlier, if you join like a forum, you can kind of throw in there like, I'm thinking about buying like the Zippo 4-in-1, hatchet thing. Like, is it useful? Has anybody used it in here and found it to be useful? Like, that's why you want to be included in a group, because you're going to get better feedback on stuff that you're looking to buy or stuff that you have and things to replace. And you get a lot of good ideas. We've gotten so many good ideas from listeners. So don't do it alone. It's not going to work out.
Yep, absolutely. That's it. That's the 15 things we wish we knew before we started prepping. Yeah. That was some good stuff,
Hopefully
I think.
Hopefully it starts out somebody new and helps those that are already doing it.
Absolutely. But before we move on, guys, today's podcast is brought to you by the fine folks at TacPack, the only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use our code CASUALPREPPERS and get a free $70 machine-made part from Next Level Armament. $70. Like, how do they do it? I don't even get this.
I don't know.
The numbers don't add up because it's only $50 for the box. So, so cool. Go check out TacPack at tacpack.com. Use our code CASUALPREPPERS. Speaking of subscription boxes, we do have the latest Battlebox. We want to look at that real quick. Are you good with that camera on?
Yes.
All right. Let's take a look at it. This is mission 91, I believe. Yes, 91. So the first item in the basic box is the Peak Refuel Titanium Spork. You always got to have a way to eat, and a spork is a great way to do it. KFC's been doing it for years.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's nothing better than like mashed potatoes and gravy and a little bit of something else with a spork. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sporks are awesome.
They are. And this one's
like
titanium.
This. Man.
It's titanium. You could use that as like a rod in your leg if you had to in a survival situation.
New hip, molten down.
Yeah, exactly. And then the second item is the Peak Refuel Biscuits and Sausage Gravy. Again, you can't go wrong with biscuits and gravy in a freeze-dried meal.
Yeah, it's
Always
probably
good.
one of the easiest ones to.
Yeah.
Going to be guaranteed good.
And then the Gear-Aid Fast-Acting Cooling Towel. This is be a great one when the power goes out in the middle of August.
Yeah.
And you got to keep cool.
Stay cooler longer.
Stay cooler longer.
That's cool.
Yeah, right. Then we got the Humvee Folding Shovel.
This one's exciting.
Yeah, this is a great basic box, man.
It really is.
All of that in the basic box.
There you go.
That is a freaking...
Remember we were talking about gear. You got to try it out.
Yeah.
Like Battlebox has done that for you if you want to cheat.
Exactly. Then you move to the advanced box, and we have the Outdoor Element Phoenix Feather Knife.
Not a real feather.
Nope.
It's a knife.
It's a knife. Yep.
That's a lightweight knife. That's why it's called a feather.
Yep.
I'll show you a picture of it because I don't want to open the box.
Then we move to the Pro Box, and we have the Battlebox Limited Edition Razor Patriot Series electronic earmuffs. Can't put those on earlier. You couldn't
Sure
hear the
did.
damn
Couldn't
thing.
hear.
Yeah. But it's cool because they're
They're good
Battlebox
looking.
branded.
They're
I like
good
that.
looking.
Yeah. Then we go to the Pro Plus Knife of the Month. We have the Outdoor Element Phoenix Talon. Woo! Look at that thing.
Outdoor element.
Pretty dang cool. It's got some cool survival gear inside the handle. It's like those old Rambo knives, you know?
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, pretty dang cool. So that is the latest Battlebox. Use our code CASUALPREPPERS. You're going to get a free knife with your first one. So you can't beat that, really. You know
Sure
what I mean?
can.
It's time for the quick and dirty medical tip.
All right, we're going to make this quick, okay?
And dirty.
Your eyeballs, very important
Oh my
to
gosh.
survive.
I use mine every day.
I do too.
Seriously.
Every single freaking day I'm using my
Yeah.
eyeballs.
And mine are sensitive.
Yeah. So they're pretty crucial to survival. You want to have your vision.
If you can't see that, you got a problem. Yeah.
So you want to protect them. Number one, some planning, obviously. Have some goggles. Have some
I wear
sunglasses.
goggles everywhere. Almost everywhere.
I should, to be honest with you.
Wear them at work.
Yeah, I do not want to lose my vision. It's a big sense that makes a lot of sense.
It totally does.
But yeah, if you do a little bit of planning, you can kind of take care of your eyes on your own. One, the protective features and prevention with goggles, ballistic sunglasses, things like that. Like they're a good idea. I would invest in them because
Yeah.
you don't want to get something stuck in there. In case you do, accidents while using tools, splatter from bleach or chemicals.
Ugh.
You can get a lot of this stuff online that can kind of test the pH balance in your eye if you have a chemical burn and want to know what to do. You see around. Look,
So, yeah, good luck
hopefully
with
you have
that.
somebody help you.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of these available tools that will help you a ton.
My eyes are already watering just thinking about
Oh
this
man,
stuff. I don't
eye
like
injuries, they always freak me out when I see them in clinic too. Like if I'm in the urgent care, I'm like, oh, great.
it. Been there, done that.
But there's a lot of little tricks that you can have to help. One, get something that can flush your eyes really well. You've seen in like the shops, they have like those ones that point right at your eyeballs and can pressure.
I've got a
wash your
pressure
eyes.
washer. Is that good?
Yeah, it's very good. But like, get a syringe and you can buy these little orbital, like they're like a little splash guard, but they're great for rinsing your eyes. You don't get it everywhere, and it kind of directs a little bit of a beam into your eye. The other things you can get like litmus paper that can test the pH balance. So if you're like, I got it splashed in there, and you can dip it in there to see if it's a chemical burn that's acidic or basic. You also can get fluorescein stain from Amazon, which is basically you get a black light, and if you have like your eyes itching or you had some trauma or some debris get in it, we stain it with fluorescein and use a black light, and you can see the scratch on the eye. So you can see how big it is.
Yeah.
It also kind of helps to identify if there's a foreign body in there still.
My eyes are watering.
I know. When it comes to the foreign body, I've mentioned it before. One little trick that we do is we have just those little circle magnets, and we'll stick them in the tip of a finger.
Just the tip?
Yeah, just the tip of the finger of the glove.
Okay.
Just the tip.
Yeah, okay.
Literally.
Yeah.
And then you can dab that latex, well, it's a non-latex glove on the eye, and if there's any pieces of metal or metal shards or anything, it's going to collect them, and it's pretty smooth to use.
I
the
got that
latex
foreign body,
or nitrile
babe.
glove, I guess I should say.
Like that foreign body
Yeah.
you got.
Nice foreign body. But you can get an eye magnet and loop. It looks like a little pin.
Is that from Apple?
You can get it on. It should be. It's an eye magnet. It's an EYE. magnet
okay.
And loop. You can get one of these on Amazon, and it has magnetic tips, but it also has a loop. So you can use those to kind of get near a foreign body and see if it pulls it out of your eye or off from your eyelid. And then it has a little loop on there to just kind of help kind of scrape it off too.
Oh.
These are things that you would probably want to see a medical provider for, but we're talking here about you don't have any other option but to do it yourself. So if you have ahead of time a little circle magnet or something you can put in a glove, or if you get this loop pin magnet thing, you can get some fluorescein stain to do on your own and a black light. I just wanted to mention that you can get all this stuff. You kind of prepare for eye injuries with these tools that can help you not always have to go into the ER or the urgent care. But, most often people that have eye injuries should see.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, again, this is a disclaimer. This is for stuff if you have no other option and you're doing it on your own.
And this is
you
not-
can get these supplies for yourself.
This is not medical advice, by the way.
No.
Again.
Non-medical advice from a medical provider.
This is not.
But yeah,
that's good. I like that.
Like I said, you can just prepare and you can get some of these tools that can kind of help you if you have no other, have no other medical expert to help you out. You can do some of this on your own.
That sounds great.
Yeah, awesome.
I like it.
And that's it.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate you listening. You guys are all wonderful people, and please send this to your friend today. Like, you know what I mean? This is such an easy thing you can do to help us out.
Share.
Just share the podcast. Say, hey.
Don't be a greedy little mother effer. Share it.
It's not cool. It's like, when people think it's not cool to like the popular bands and like, oh, this is my band.
Yeah.
I don't no, don't do that with podcasts. Send it to all the people.
Yeah.
Let all the people like it.
That's the only thing that keeps us alive.
It is.
Like, we don't make much doing this at all.
Like, hardly anything. And so the more you can share
Basically.
this out, the better it is. And it's such a simple task, guys. We're not asking for much. Did you hear that medical tip he just gave you?
Yeah.
Come on.
Listen to this tip about tips.
Yeah, exactly. Foreign bodies. Ugh. Yeah. I'll tell you.
You're all, and I'm all,
I guess it depends on where it's at.
Yeah, if you're into foreign bodies.
Do you like foreign bodies? Is your husband a dentist?
Yeah, don't share it to your friend that's a dentist. Actually, you know what? Do
it. Tell him to call me.
Share him last episode.
Yeah. Let him see. All right, guys. Thanks and stay survived.